James, can you be quiet while I'm doing this, please? Thank you.
Okay. Hi, yeah, so I was gonna do a stupid, Wolf Glick style, YouTubeist intro, and then I quickly realized I'm not a real YouTubeist, so I'm not qualified for that. Anyway, this is me, this is Jimmy. I am just a regular VGC Joe Schmo, just playing the game, having fun. But we have the Teal Mask DLC coming out soon, and I've been making some notes on stuff that's returning, stuff that may or may not be good, may not be bad. So I'm just kind of making a little hot take list today, just because. I got all of the information on the returning Pokemon from Sarah B. So if I'm missing anything, it's not my fault, I swear. I've seen a lot of stuff talking about new Pokemon's coming back for the DLC, and that includes, normally those lists include both Indigo Disc as well as Teal Mask, and I'm going to be talking about just Teal Mask today, since that's the one that comes out next week. So yeah, I'm just going to hop into it. Let's see. I made two separate lists here on Showdown to kind of go over some sets and some builds for stuff I think is going to be good or bad. We're going to start with a bad list, because why not, right? First off, we have Arbok. We have this silly little snake dude. He's a pretty cool guy. He's not going to be doing much, though. Basically, the only reason you'd ever use this thing is because he has Intimidate. But if you want an Intimidate Pokemon that resists common fairy-type attackers, like something like, I don't know, Fluttermane, you're just going to want to go ahead and run with the Hisui and Arcanine. That just seems like a much better set. Obviously, the moves aren't listed on Showdown yet because it's not been imported with all the information yet, but I've looked around on some other websites to see if this guy might have any good moves, and unless you're gonna do some weird like coil shenanigans with like Gunk Shot, I don't see this guy ever being usable. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. Up next we're gonna have Clefable. Let's see. Clefable, cute charm, gimmicky, not that great, unreliable. Especially in the VGC standards. You're not going to be running into a lot of opportunities to get value out of that. Magikarp is a great ability. People who are playing singles are going to get a lot of value out of this for sure. However, in VGC, it's not going to be that great. It's just not that good. Unaware is fine, but again, coming off of this base stat total, if you want an unaware Pokemon, just use solo Dondozo. Or even Clodsire, I think, would be a better option. I just don't think you're going to be getting a whole lot of value. It just doesn't seem to be very good. I can't think of any good items for it. Maybe Assault Vest if you want to just like start punching things with like Meteor Mash or Moonblast or something. But it's not going to be very good. Poliwrath, water fighting type. Urshifu. The only thing this thing has over Urshifu is it gets Swift Swim, which would obviously make it faster, but coming off of just a puny little 95 attack stat, even with Swift Swim active and like a choice span set, you're not going to get that much out of it. Let's just throw that on there. I think your best move is probably going to be something like Waterfall also, close combat, like just use Urshifu. Like, you're using this pretty much just because you want to use Poliwrath, and I'm sorry, he's just not going to be any good. This is where the hot takes get a little bit more spicy. I think Snorlax is going to be potentially very useless when it comes to the offensive sets. I think if you want a big, bulky, normal type in Trick Room that's really slow, you're just going to use Ursaluna, right? Like, that's kind of the issue with this entire tier list of, like, bad Pokemon, excuse me. A lot of them are going to have just better alternatives that exist in the game already. Snorlax, in particular, is slower than Ursaluna if you were going to do something, right? But Ursaluna's base attack stat is 30 points higher than this, right? I think if you just go Adamant Ursaluna, you hit 176 without any investment as long as you're Adamant, right? So like Snorlax has to do all of this, has to go HP, obviously, because it's Snorlax. Maybe you put a little bit more into bulk instead. Do something like this. I don't know. But you're just not going to be doing as much damage. You would have to Belly Drum to be comparable to Ursaluna after a Guts boost, right? You're going to be giving up a lot of health for that. Immunity's not great. In VGC, it's not very good. Thick Fat is fine. I think if you wanted to use a Snorlax set, I don't think you would be able to get away with it being an offensive Trick Room abuser, but maybe something like an Assault Vest with thick fat, body slam, and some other moves that just help like really slow things down. I think it gets bulldoze, right? So you could have him there as like a speed control option. Let's go ahead and take a look and see. Let's go see if he has anything good going on. Oh, there's a Gen 9 learn set. Let's see. Nope, no, there's not. It lied to me. Let's see. Is there anything good on Snorlax? High horsepower, hammer arm, curse double edge, fissure. I mean, dude, wait a minute. We've seen what bulky fissure mons can do with Ting-Lu. Actually, that would be really funny to pair this with a Ting-Lu. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, like Assault Vest, high HP, a lot of physical bulk. Just do something like this, right? Who cares? There we go. Alright, cool. Bulldoze, Body Slam, Fissure. What else does he get? Anything else that could be kind of good with that? Steel Roller to get rid of terrain if you hate Indeedee. I mean, I hate Indeedee. I hate Psychic Terrain. Snorlax just seems like he's not going to be in a very good spot, just because there's much better, bulkier options between Ting-Lu, Dondozo, Ursaluna is a better, like, offensive, slow, bulky Trick Room user, right, who's still immune to Flutter Mane Shadow Balls, stuff like that. I think it's going to be really hard for Snorlax to find a place in this meta, if I'm being entirely honest. What other move would I throw on here? With, like, a set like this. I don't even know if there is. Icy Wind, maybe? It's the same as Bulldoze, I guess. Maybe Rock Tomb. Again, speed control, not great. Heavy Slam, probably Heavy Slam, just for dealing with Flutter Mane. I think something like this might be a funny set. Just a defensive, bulky Fissure spam with Body Slam and Bulldoze for speed control, and then just delete the Flutter Mane if you need to. I don't even know how much that does to the Flutter Mane, honestly. Anyway, moving on. I don't think Snorlax is going to be very good. Furret. Yeah, we're just not going to talk about that guy. Noctowl. Noctowl could be weird. Its stats aren't very good, but it does have Tinted Lens, and it has some like really unique moves. I'm pretty sure this thing gets Tailwind and possibly Trick Room. I could be wrong about that, but Shadow Ball, like Terra Ghost Shadow Ball could be really fun on this guy. It gets, what is it? I was thinking about Brave Bird, but this thing's physical attack is garbage. I think just Air Slash maybe, right? Maybe go Air Cutter if you want to get real memey with it, and go, what is it, Scope Lens? Yeah. I think something like that could be kind of funny, like under Tailwind, or maybe even like as a Trick Room option. This thing is not super fast, so if you did like a negative speed nature, right? 67 speed is pretty good for Trick Room spam. If you just did something like this to help it out a little bit, just Crit Fish with Tinted Lens could be pretty funny. Maybe go Terra Flying at that point, but Noctowl pretty gimmicky for the most part. Not gonna be getting a whole lot of usage, I don't think. Apom, I can't figure it out, man. Technician, Loaded Dice with Fury Swipes. I think that's the only Technician boost that Apom or Ambipom gets. If we could take a look at its last moveset again, I think Fury Swipes double hit actually does more than Loaded Dice. I did the math on that before. And it's more likely to hit on that first try. So there you go. Stop, like look at this abysmal offensive move pool here, right? It gets Last Resort. If we look over here, like Technician boost is again like Aerial Ace, Thief, Payback, like, and this is all coming off of his 100 attack stat. I don't think Ambipom's going to see any use. This is one of those mons that's going to be really good in singles specifically. Technician boosted Fake Out with normal Terra, always fine. You're pretty much like Focus Sash, double hit. Like that's all you're getting. You're not getting a lot of value out of this guy. Yanmega, I think objectively is pretty bad. However, Life Orb Tinted Lens coming off a 95 speed? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, if you could get, like, if you have one turn where you can, like, go for fake out or follow me or something like that, get an agility off with this guy. With 154 speed, I mean, you're hitting 308, which is outspeeding pretty much everything. I guess I would be more optimal to do something like that, right? To just outspeed booster bundle. But yeah, at that point, you're outspeeding booster bundle, right? 310 for your speed. Tinted lens, bug buzz goes crazy. You have tinted lens with like Terraflying Air Slash, or again Air Cutter could be really good. Life Orb, tinted lens, Terraflying Air Cutter to just hit both sides of the field. That's pretty good. It's going to be one of those mons where it's like objectively it's not going to be very good. It's still a bug flying type after all, but its offensive stats are pretty good, and it does always get the speed boost ability too. I think you probably get more value out of going for like an agility setup. If we take a look over here, Omega, I don't know if it gets Nasty Plot is the thing. Because if it gets Nasty Plot, that's huge. It's a dark type move. No, okay. I don't think it gets any other good self-boosting move then. But I think your best bet is going for something like agility, or going for speed boost, swapping out agility and going for another coverage move, and then pairing it with a Tailwind team. So that way, even if both teams have Tailwind up, after one turn, if you protect, go for Tailwind, the other team goes for like Tailwind and some offensive move, you have speed control every time with that +1 speed and also Tailwind. That means you're always moving first in front of pretty much every team, right? Like if you did 155, I mean, I guess like booster speed Flutter Mane next to Tailwind wouldn't do it, but anyway, you see what I'm getting at. I feel like it's going to be super great. I feel like it could be good, but I feel like it's mostly going to be pretty bad. Dude, I'm sorry. They need to buff you. Mightyena has been around for like 18 years or 20 years or something like that, and it still has a base stat pool of this. Just awful, right? It gets Intimidate, which is a great ability. It gets Moxie, which is a great ability. Like Quick Feet could be really cool. It just doesn't do anything. I think its best offensive move is something like Crunch or Assurance. But that requires something else goes before it, and this thing's not taking more than one hit without a Focus Sash, right? Like a Mach Punch from a Breloom probably knocks this thing out. This thing will never switch in on a Flutter Mane. It's too bad. It's just too bad. Anyway, Crawdon, objectively bad. I think if you want to use it in Trick Room, that could be an option. I think there's better Trick Room users out there. Because 55, 54 speed, I think that's the same as Ursaluna, if I'm not mistaken. 50, and then that one's 55. Okay. Yeah, so it's slower than Ursaluna. It gets Banded Water Adaptability Aqua Jet, but you know what else does that? This guy. This is why he's in this list, by the way. Basculegion does everything that Crawdon does, but better. And in a closed team sheet environment, like if you were just on ladder, you have to respect both adaptability and Swift Swim from this guy, whereas Crawdon's never running these guys. That's just not happening. Unless he's like a Swords Dance set with Hyper Cutter, but I don't know why you do that. And this thing is weak to fighting, weak to fairy. This thing is immune to fighting, neutral to fairy, and can delete Flutter Mane. Its stats are overall better, right? Like 120, 112. Technically it hits a little bit harder, but everything else across the board, like look, it has double the amount of HP, or Basculegion has twice as much HP as the Crawdon. I don't see this thing being good outside of a Trick Room team going for like Crab Hammer, Crunch, Aqua Jet, and then like Aerial Ace is there for coverage. Maybe you could go like, I think it gets Close Combat. I think you could throw that on there instead. But then you don't have any answers for like grass types, so I think that's why like Aerial Ace is your best bet. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be very good. Basculegion, not on this list, was just here to compare with Crawdon. Let's see. Dusknoir. And yes, this means Duskull is back. He is on the good list. His son is there, but the father himself, he is too old for this and is not very good. It's just going to be a classic example of, like, Duskull did great in Gen 8 VGC. It is a great Eviolite user with insane defensive bulk. Dusknoir is not any good. It gets pressure, it gets frisk. They're both fine. Pressure is actually going to go kind of crazy in this new format, though, with a lot of stuff running out of, like, a lot of good moves like Sucker Punch or Surging Strikes or even stuff like Fissure. A lot of them only have like 8 PP for the most part. So having something with pressure on the field for 3 turns is just like, hey, you can use that move maybe 1 more time. Maybe 2 if you're lucky, right? So pressure is actually pretty decent, I think. But again, Dusknoir is just not going to get a lot of value. It doesn't have the HP to really get value out of something like Citrus Berry. It's not offensive enough. It's like, just use Dusclops with Eviolite. It's going to be 10 times better than this every time. Chimecho. Why do I even have moves on here? I don't even know. It's a garbage Pokemon. Garbage. Cute little guy. Funny little dude. Garbage Pokemon. Conkeldurr. I'm sorry, buddy. You are a slow fighting type with guts. I guess you beat Ursaluna in the Trick Room matchup. I think that's your best bet. I think that's the only way you're really going to get value. But aside from that, I don't think it's going to be very good. Maybe Sheer Force with Bullet Punch, because I'm pretty sure it gets that. I think Flame Orb Guts would probably still just be better anyway, but I think it's just going to be another Trick Room user. I had a comparison in my head before, but I thought there was a better fighting type Trick Room user. I could just be wrong. I think Ursaluna is probably still objectively better, is the thing. And a lot of Ursaluna run Terra Ghost, so I feel like being able to just blank this guy's best options with a Terra Ghost Ursaluna would be pretty easy to do. I think Terra Fairy works, Drain Punch, Close Combat, nothing crazy, right? Protect, Drain Punch, Close Combat, and then maybe like, you don't even need Heavy Slam if you have Bullet Punch. Knock Off, probably. Just something like that, right? Bing, bang, boom. Maybe you can get away with an Assault Vest variant with this thing, but again, I think at that point it's too slow. I don't know if it'll be bulky enough for the format. I think, oh wait, of course. How did I forget? Iron Hands. That's why this thing isn't going to be good. Because Iron Hands is everywhere. And there's no way you're ever taking a Conkeldurr with Guts Flame Orb over an Iron Hands. I just don't see that happening. Iron Hands is too good, man. Like 154 HP. Yes, the special defense is worse. Maybe you can get away with it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a hot take that's just objectively bad. But let's see, 65, no, okay, it's about the same. So yeah, it's just less HP, hits about just as hard. It has the Guts option, but it also doesn't get Wild Charge, which is a big deal, which helps delete the flying type coverage. So I don't know. I still don't think it's going to be great. I think it could be better than maybe I initially thought it was going to be, but I don't think it's going to be very good. Chandelure, cool Pokemon, can blow things up. I don't think it's going to be super great here. Flash Fire is good. Infiltrator is solid, but not amazing. There's not too many screens teams running around right now. Specs Chandelure is probably your go-to. I think Specs Terrafire. I didn't mean to make it shiny, but I'll keep it that way because it looks sick. Terrafire, Specs. I think it gets Heat Wave. Gets Overheat. It's just a worse Chi-Yu, basically, is what it is. Maybe you could go like a Room Service and Trick Room set with something like this. But again, 76 speed isn't great. What is that after Room Service? Let's see. So it hits 51 speed, which is pretty good after the Room Service. But again, like, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be that good. Maybe at that point you go Terra Grass then. Heat Wave, Overheat, Shadow Ball, and Protect probably, right? I know this thing gets Energy Ball too, so maybe like swap out one of these with Energy Ball if you're gonna go Terra Grasp. I just don't like its special attack stack goes crazy, right? 145. That's it's higher than Flutter Mane. It's higher than Iron Moth, but its speed is too low, and it's not bulky enough. Its typing is good and bad. It's a very volatile Pokemon that it's a really high risk, really high risk with like decently high reward if you get the right matchup. I just don't think it's gonna be super great. Mandibuzz. Cool Pokemon, love it. Super biased towards this thing. I don't think it's going to be that good. We already have Galarian Moltres in the format as a Dark Flying type, and Galarian Moltres is stupid bulky, and pretty much gets all of these tools. I don't think Galarian Moltres gets Taunt. It might. I could be wrong. But it also has Berserk, right? So you get punished for hitting Galarian Moltres with any type of move, whereas with the Mandibuzz, if you run like a Rocky Helmet set, you punish physical attackers with it, but you don't get anything out of it either, right? It would just be here to be a bulky Tailwind setter, and then maybe click Taunt, maybe click Foul Play to punish some hard physical attackers, and then that's about it. Cool Pokemon, not great. Trevenant. I could be wrong about this. I could be very wrong about this thing. It could be a really interesting Sun team, I think. A lot of Sun teams don't want to run into Ground, Rock, or Water types, and Trevenant kind of complements that really well by having the Ghost Grass combo, and Harvest could be really cool with that also. So if you did something like a Citrus Berry and put him on the Sun team, or maybe even some kind of boosting berry, like a Wiki Berry or something maybe, I don't know. He's pretty slow. I think you would go something like, what is it? Not Leech Life. What's the, is it Horn Leech? There's that one. The one that drains the attack stat. I always forget what it's called. Strength Sap. That's what it is. That's what I was thinking of. Strength Sap. Jeez, that took forever. I say, if this thing gets Strength Sap, it might be good, right? Like, just getting consistent attack decreases on something. Horn Leech could also be pretty good. It gets Shadow Claw. That's its best physical attack as far as I know. But like, it might be a decent complement to like Sun teams, just being a grass type that can sit on the field for a long time and potentially hurt ground and water types. But outside of that, it's really slow. Not quite slow enough to deal with Ursaluna. And that's kind of the thing that we're in right now too, is like, if you're not super fast or a good middle speed to function, you have to either function in Tailwind and be the fastest thing on the board. You have to have a middling speed to be either good under Tailwind or good under Trick Room versus opposing Tailwind. Or you have to be good in Trick Room. And when you're not hitting a speed that's under Ursaluna, after that point, it's like you have Amoonguss to deal with, you have Torkoal. You just have a lot of Pokemon that hit really hard, and I think it's going to be hard for this thing to really get a whole lot of value and find its niche in the meta. I could be entirely wrong, but who knows. Cramorant. Nothing to say. This thing's bad. It's just a bad Pokemon. Don't use it. Garbage stats, stupid gimmicky ability. Not worth it. Ariados. Yeah. Bad Pokemon. It gets Sticky Web. It's a bug poison. Bad stats. That's all I got. And that's going to cover the bad Pokemon. Some of these are going to be a lot more of a hot take than others. Specifically, stuff like the Mightyena, the Furret, all that is pretty obviously going to be bad. If I am wrong about stuff, I hope it's something like Snorlax, Yanmega, Conkeldurr, Chandelure would be awesome. I would love to see all of these have some noteworthy performances at some point, but I could be very wrong about that, and I'm probably not, but who knows. But yeah, I realized halfway through the editing process that this was going to be a really long video if I did all the good and the bad Pokemon in the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it up into 2 separate videos. That way it's a lot more digestible. Yeah, that's going to do it. Go ahead and let me know if I'm wrong. If there's any cool sets that I'm missing, if there's any Pokemon I'm missing, I probably am. Just go ahead and let me know. I'll appreciate the feedback and probably provide some response to it. Thanks a bunch. That's about it. See ya.